Hello everyone, my name is Alex Wiseman. I'm going to go over the business plan for VehiConomy that I wrote for my entrepreneurial planning class at Western Carolina University. So for those of you who were not in my class last semester, which was entrepreneurial marketing, just kind of want to talk to you a little bit about what VehiConomy is and what we're going to do. So VehiConomy is going to be a used car dealership, much like CarMax. We're striving to be the direct competitor of CarMax because there is no one else in that market aside from little mom and pop used car dealerships and maybe even a couple of car dealerships who've opened up multiple locations in larger cities. So what's going to set VehiConomy apart is it is our goal to make you feel the most comfortable. So we're going to consult with you and find out whether or not you want to be left alone or whether or not you want to work directly one-on-one with a representative. Whenever it is time for you to work with a representative, what VehiConomy will do is make sure that you're with one person the whole time. There's going to be no haggle pricing, and we're going to work with the same person the whole time. So you're not going to have to go in and wonder whether or not you're going to get passed off to a sales manager, whether or not you're going to have to wait 2 hours just to negotiate a deal because of the back and forth. You're going to be sitting with one person the whole time through the whole process, the sales process, the finance process, and the delivery process. Even the test drives are going to be done with the exact same person. That way you get that chance to build a relationship and kind of get to know your representative, get to know VehiConomy, and just create a really welcoming and warm buying experience. So I have listed the organizational chart on here, and this is an organizational chart at VehiConomy's sort of final stages. Whenever VehiConomy has hit 50 stores or more, this is the type of organizational chart that I'm going to want. It's all going to start with the president. Everyone's going to answer to the president. The management, the executive management team, which comprises of your chief executive officer, chief financial officer, and your chief marketing officer, will answer directly to the president. Now, below the executive management team is going to be the vice presidential team. This team is set in place to kind of answer to the rest of the company, or have the kind of manage the rest of the company, I guess I should say. That way, the chief executives, the president, will have more time to take the data collected from the VPs and the market area executives and kind of figure out the direction the company should be going. And they'll meet with the executive board and make these decisions. Below the vice presidential team, the market area executive team will answer directly to them. Now, each region of the United States will have a market area executive. Below the market area executives, you'll have the regional management team. The leader of that regional management team will be the regional general manager. And by regional, I mean per state. There will be one state manager, so to speak. And then all of these regional managers below that will cover an entire state, where the individual dealership management team will answer directly to them. Now, I have included a regional Six Sigma manager and a Six Sigma black belt. So for every state, I want to have a Six Sigma manager and a Six Sigma black belt, maybe even more than one Six Sigma black belt in large states like California, Texas, New York, Florida, and so on. Having the Six Sigma managers and the Six Sigma black belt team is extremely important to me because Six Sigma is all about designing processes, making processes better. And especially whenever you have the Lean Six Sigma, you'll be focusing on reducing errors, and then refining your process, because no matter which way you think about it, even if you have the most cutting edge process there is, eventually the market changes, and eventually technology changes, and eventually the mindset of the organization changes, and the workforce. And you need to be able to adapt. That's why it's so important to have these Six Sigma managers to kind of keep creating that flow that needs to happen in order for everything to run smoothly. So below the regional team, you're going to have the general manager of the dealership. And below the general manager, you're going to have the general manager's management team. Below the sales manager and the finance manager in particular, you're going to have the customer advocate. And the reason why I have the customer advocate below both of them is because the customer advocate is going to be doing the sales and the finance part of the car deal. That's part of the economy. The person that you work with is going to be working with you throughout the entire deal. I've also included a marketing manager and a marketing assistant because you need to be able to target the market where the vast majority of your cars sit. If you are a dealership within VehiConomy that can sell exotics, maybe you have a small area of exotics that you can specialize in. You can market to those who are looking for exotics. Or say you have the vast majority of your cars on the lot are higher end, Mercedes, BMW, Cadillac, then you can focus on doing that. Every marketing manager at any given time throughout the year can be marketing to different people based on the inventory, what we have in the lot. That's why it's important for every dealership to have a marketing manager and a marketing assistant. So continuing on, here's the executive pay structure. So this is sort of in the middle-ish area of where VehiConomy should be. So at initial startup, you're going to have a lot fewer employees, and the organizational chart I just showed is whenever we're going to have a lot of employees. This is where we're at, sort of in the middle. Just kind of wanted to go over the administrative salaries real quick and kind of give you an idea of where my thought process is. Now, I did include salaries for the president and the CEO. Even though they're founders, I did include salaries. So I've started off the salary for the president at $10,000 and the CEO at $8,000. This is where it would end after year one, so that $10,000 a month turns into $120,000. The $8,000 turns into $96,000, so on and so forth for the executive team. Now at year two, that monthly salary increases by 10%, and this is the salary that's reflected with that 10% increase. Now, with the amount of the market that CarMax owns, it would be very easy to take part of that market away from them, at least in my opinion, and be able to pay the administrative staff, the executive staff, these salaries. Same way with human resources, sales, accounting, and operations. These salaries would be feasible because that market is out there to collect the revenues and to make the profits, to fund these salaries and still continue to grow VehiConomy. So now we're going to talk a little bit about equity structure. I did read in my comments that the percentages are rather small on here. I could go in and increase the size of the font. However, in order to make this fit and kind of show you exactly this chart, I had to copy from PowerPoint. But I do appreciate the suggestion, and next time that I make a PowerPoint, I will make sure that whenever I add it to a Word document, I will go in and make sure that the words and the numbers are a bit easier to read for those who are looking at what I'm writing. So to kind of go over the equity structure, upon founding, the initial equity per shareholder sits at this: 31% for the president, 30% for the CEO. Of the $5 million that gets invested into the company based on the exercise from class, Investor 1 is going to put in $3 million. Investor 2 is going to put in $2 million. Thus, Investor 1 will receive 23% of the company, and Investor 2 will receive 14% of the company. I've also thought about adding 2 market experts who will help kind of guide us in the right direction for growth. They're both going to receive 1% of the company. So one other thing that I did kind of want to mention is I never did give any one person the majority share of the company. I wanted to do that because I want people to be able to vote. I want there to be no doubt that the decisions that are being made are in the best interest of the company and not the individual. That's why I wanted to make sure that the only way that there could be a majority is if 2 large shareholders get together and decide something. Thinking mostly between the 2 founders, the president and the CEO, in this incentive to share or this incentive to sell scenario. So let's go over this. The shareholder, 2-year final vested equity. So after 2 years, you're going to be fully vested. 31.2% will go to the president and 30.2% will go to the CEO. This is because they're putting in a whole lot of work to make this company grow and to be profitable. That share percentage will come from the market experts. The market experts will receive less ownership of the company. However, their 0.8% will be worth a whole lot more than the 1% at the initial phase. Now, you will notice that Investor 1 and Investor 2, their investments remain the same, and that's because whenever they bought into the company, they bought in to a very specific share amount, and so that's where they'll remain. And to sell before the 2-year vesting has happened, the president and the CEO are going to take a share cut, and we're going to give that to Investor 1, Investor 2, and Market Expert 1 and Market Expert 2. Because if we decide we need to sell the company, it would be a majority vote between the 2 of us, and we should show our investors and our experts that we are thankful for the work that they're doing. So we're going to give them a greater share than they paid into to say thank you and to build really good business relationships in the future. So the executive team and key members are the president and the CEO, and these 2 people are probably the 2 most important people of the company because they're the ones who started the company. This was going to be me and another person. We know VehiConomy and what it's capable of, what its potential is, and where we want the company to go. Chances are we will be putting in the most effort out of anybody to make VehiConomy the best used car company. The other key member that I really wanted to talk about here is the detailer. The detailer is often overlooked. So the detailer is going to make every car look spectacular. And that's sort of like the face of the business, you know. You want to look presentable to a customer to create trust. The same way with the car. We want our cars to look as good as they run. And the detailer is a person who's going to do this. So here's just a few resumes based on what I thought was a good collection of what I would look for in an executive management team. Just to kind of go through a little bit more, just so you can kind of see, and it's all available to you online as well. And thank you very much for listening.